Shoshana, in order that I can say this from Shir HaShirim, כאשר שנה בין התוכים, כן רעייתי בין הבנות. Hashem says, just like the roses among the thorns, this is how the children of Israel are among the nations. Look how Hashem loves us, Baruch Hashem. So, and this is connected to the 13 attributes of mercy of Hashem, Gimel Midot Shel Rachamim, B'siyata Dishmaya, and we're almost on Elul. So, dear ladies, let's bless Bezrat Hashem. Erev Tov, good evening, dear ladies. Let's bless that we all have the schut to bring Mashiach Tzidkenu Barachamim b'mera b'yameinu amen. Eliyahu Navi, Eliyahu Tishbiliyahu Giladi, b'mera b'Moshe David Eliyahu Navi Zakulatov. We all have the schut to see the building of Beit HaMikdash HaShlishi b'mera b'yameinu amen. כי עין בעין נראו בשוב אדוני ציון. אתה תקום תרחם ציון, כי עת לחננה כי בא מועד. השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה חדש ימינו כקדם. And we'll all have the schut to go to Eretz Yisrael on the wings of eagle, and we'll all have part in Eretz Yisrael. בשם השם נעשה ונצליח, אין עוד מלבדו. השם שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. And everything that we do is בשם כל ישראל, in the name of all of the children of Israel. Like I told you before that, all the time I have this in my mind, El Nora Alila, Hamtzila Numechila, Bishat Haneila. Which means it says that we know that all of what we see is by Hashem. And we're asking, this is at the end of Yom Kippurim. Yes. The Sfaradim usually sing this at the end of Yom Kippurim on the Ne'ilah, when the gates are going to be closed. Everything is already sealed. And we ask from Hashem, before He closes the gates, that He will find a path to forgive us for everything. And Bezrat Hashem, by this Mashiach will be revealed this year. Dear ladies, we just had the Yortzeit of the Arizal, Rabbi Yitzchak Luria Ashkenazi, Alav Hashem Zchutot Haganenu, the Yortzeit of the Rama Mipano, the Yortzeit of Arab Dalia Chayun, that opened Bet El, the yeshiva of Mekubalim, and the Rashash was the continuation. He married his daughter Hannah, and it's in Yerushalayim, Bet El. So we had this Yortzeit of big rabbis, the Siyata Dishmaya, and all of them are in the days of Av, before Tisha B'Av, in order that they will stand for us, and the Siyata Dishmaya will be good advocates for the children of Israel, and Hashem will, Bezrat Hashem, save all of us, all the children of Israel and the whole world, Bezrat Hashem. And B'siyata Dishmaya, so Bezrat Hashem, it's in their schut, and also Lilu Nishmat, Zalman HaKohen ben Tzvio, and Bechor HaKohen ben Tzvio, וחנה בת צ'רנה בת בן ציון, עליה השלום תשמורה בצורה החיים, הרב שמחה יוסופו בן מרים מרוסיה, עליו השלום תשמורה בצורה החיים, ואליעזר בן מעלה, עליו השלום תשמורה בצורה החיים. עליה השלום תשמורה בצורה החיים. שמעון בן דוד, עליהם השלום, תהי נשמתם צורה בצור החיים. And
do you have any רפואה שלמה?
Yes. אסתר בת מלכה רפואה שלמה, יונה בצר זוהרה, דבורה בת שרנה.
אמן. אקדס רבקה בת מלכה, וגם רפאל חיים מאיר בן סימון חשה.
בעזרת השם, included in all of the sick people, בסייעתא דשמיא, מהשם גיב רפואת health mentally and physically to כלל עמו ישראל, and the ones that are healthy, may Hashem continue the health mentally and physically, and בעזרת השם, that we will all have the schut to do tshuva, to repent. That Hashem will accept and help us, our children, our husbands, כלל ישראל, and the whole world, בעזרת השם. So dear ladies, this Shabbat is already Shabbat Nachamu. Shabbat, it's Shabbat Beit Hanan. We're going to speak about Beit Hanan tomorrow. But it's Shabbat Nachamu, it's comforting. Now we are starting from this Shabbat, 7 Shabbatot of Haftarot that we hear about comforting, that Hashem comforts the children of Israel. It's 7 Shabbatot. Why is it 7? It's parallel to the 7 months that Yaakov Avinu took, the 3 Shabbatot that we had between the 17th of the month of Tammuz and the 9th of Av. All of the 3 Shabbatot, all of them were Shabbatot to the Toranuta, all of them were Shabbatot that we read the Haftarot about the sins of the children of Israel and everything that happened of the ruining of the temple. So Be'ezrat Hashem, now we come back to 7 Haftarot from Parashat Nachamu, 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 Ami, double Nechama, because we are already almost 2,000 years, almost 1960 years from the ruining of the second temple. And until now, the temple is not built, the third temple. No, that every generation, every year, when we see that we don't greet yet Mashiach, and the temple is still ruined and it's not built, it's our fault. Part of it is our fault, because we didn't fix what we needed to fix. Can you imagine? Every generation, שבית המקדש לא נבנה בו, זה כאילו חרב. It's like it was ruined in our generation. Why? Because we didn't fix what we came here to fix. And I know that Rabbi Nachman Breslev says why we are still in exile, because we don't have enough emunah. Emunah, faith in Hashem and bitachon in Hashem. And we'll speak about it, Be'ezrat Hashem. So we have a Wednesday, we start on Wednesday, B'siyata Dishmaya, we already start the fast of Tisha B'Av. It starts, I think, at 8:19, something like this. You have to check it in the calendars. And it ends at 8:55 on Thursday. It's a whole, it's a whole day, like Yom Kippurim. So we don't eat, we don't drink, we don't put cream on ourselves, we don't shower, we don't go with leather shoes. So everything, and we don't have intimate relationship, marital relationship on Tisha B'Av. And this is the morning. We mourn over the ruining of the 2 temples. So it's mamash this, and this is a Yom Chamishi, it's Thursday, and then comes Shabbat Nachamu. So dear ladies, let's see. It says, כל המתאבל על ירושלים זוכה לראות בשמחתה, במהרה בימים אמן. He who mourns over the ruining of Yerushalayim, the ruining of the temples, then he has the zchut, Hashem gives them the zchut to see the building of the temple. So, dear ladies, we also have the tefillah, the prayer of the Ramchal that we say every day in order that Hashem will help us, that we can see Mashiach, and Hashem will take and gather all of the prayers of all of the tzaddikim in Eretz Israel and outside the land of Israel. And all of our prayers, and with this, b'siyata dishmaya, that Hashem will reveal Mashiach. And you know that Mashiach was born on Tisha B'Av B'chatzot Hayom, at the middle of the day. No, what does it mean it was born? Mashiach is among us. But when Hashem will reveal Mashiach, he needs to bring the soul, the part of the soul that is under the throne of Hashem, that is called Yechidah, and la'aber ota in Mashiach, and to put her in Mashiach. And then Mashiach will be elevated spiritually, and the Siyata Dishmaya, all of the miracles that Hashem is going to perform to the children of Israel, and all of Hasidei Umot Olam, the righteous among all of the nations, the Siyata Dishmaya, then we'll see miracles above nature. So dear ladies, Tisha B'Av, 5 things happened on Tisha B'Av, just like on the 17th of the month of Tammuz, and we already spoke about it, that when Mashiach is here, the 17th, which is a numerical value of good, of Tov, and also the 9th of Av will become festivals, high holidays, and all of the days in between, the 3 weeks, will become intermediate of that festival. Amen. So first of all, Be'ezrat Hashem, we see that what happened was the sin of the spies, Chet HaMeraglim, that slandered the land of Israel. Can you imagine to slander rocks and wood and trees? And by this, 38 years they stayed in the desert instead of going into the land of Israel. So can you imagine if this is slandering wood and stones, what happens to us if we slander each other? We say lies about each other. Can you imagine this? So let's see. We'll go to Chet HaMeraglim because we want to understand why is it so harsh. We're going to speak about Chet HaMeraglim from two different places, two different angles. One is from Chumash Bamidbar, Parashat Shlach Lecha, which is the portion of the Meraglim, of the spies, and the other one is from Chumash Dvarim, Parashat Dvarim, and over there you remember that Moshe Rabbeinu, in a hymn, because of the honor of the children of Israel, reminds them their sins, where and each one of the stops that they did there. So we'll come back to Chet HaMeraglim. I'll just speak about other four things that happened on Tisha B'Av. The first temple and the second temple were burned on Tisha B'Av. And the main burning was on the 10th of Av. So sages thought, okay, it's 2 days that the temple was burned, so maybe there needs to be 2 days of fast, not to eat. But because that our generation, the generations became weaker and weaker physically, so they decided that we fast on the 9th, which was the beginning of burning the temple. Yes. Why? Because everything goes after the Reshit. Reshit matchila et hakol. The beginning includes everything that is inside it. So the two temples were burnt on the 9th of Av and the 10th of Av. Then Nilkeda Betar. After the temple was burned, the second temple, the city of Beitar was still standing for 52 years. And Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel, he was the only one that survived it. The only one, 52 years. Why was the city, why? Because in the city of Beitar, there wasn't a baseless hatred. They all loved each other. There wasn't any baseless hatred. So why after 52 years it was the city was conquered and Adrianos Caesar killed everybody there? It says that the blood, there were rivers of blood, and the rivers of blood came to until the nostrils of the horses. Can you imagine what happened there? So what happened is they loved each other. But at that time, before the burning of the temple, they used to come to 3 times a year on Pesach, Shavuot, Sukkot, to come and give sacrifices to Yerushalayim. And when they came over, they are part of the Kohanim, were not so good people. And when they came to the temple to sacrifice, they used to tell them, "Oh, we heard that you came over here because you want to live with us. You want to live with us, and we know that you have a field and you have a house, B'Shomron or in other places, B'Tzfat." So they said, and because you want to live with us, we know that you want to give us your field, that like you're selling your field to us. So the person said, no, I'm going to go back home. But they didn't listen. They put people as witnesses. They wrote a treaty, a choseh, a treaty like the person agreed. They let the witnesses sign, and they sent messengers to his home, and they told, the ones that were like the city mayor of that place, they told him, well, he sold us his field, don't let him go into his field. Don't let them go to his house. And when the people came back, they didn't have a home to go in, and the field wasn't theirs because they sent with a false witnesses the letters, the treaties over there. So they said, wow, why did we go to Jerusalem in order to offer sacrifices, which had stayed at home? And when the temple was burned, they lit candles because they were happy. Because of this, the city of Beitar was ruined. So the first temple was ruined because of three sins that it says Yehareg v'Bal Yavor, that we should die and not transgress with these sins. And what are the sins? Of worshipping other gods, which is also forbidden for the nations, not only for us. Worshipping other gods, having intimate relationship that is forbidden, and killing, and spilling blood, killing. But the second temple, which was the Tzedakah, there was Torah, was ruined because of baseless hatred. And baseless hatred, Masechet Arachin in the Gemara, it says that baseless hatred is parallel to these 3 sins. Leshon hara, slandering is parallel to these three sins. Leshon hara is parallel to worshiping other gods, having intimate relationship that is forbidden, and killing a person. Why? Because if we slander a person, it means we listen to the evil inclination. So this is worshiping other gods. And if we slander, because the mouth is parallel to the organs that we have that reproduce. The mouth is, because both of them have a mouth. So because of this, it's like we have intimate relationship that is forbidden. And killing, because we're spilling the blood of the person that we are speaking of. Because sometimes most of the times, because of this, then it's hard for him to find parnasa, to find income, to marry his children. Because you hear things and then you say, oh, well, even if you don't know the person, oh wow, I heard about this person, and then when there's shidduchim, where marriages and things, you say, oh, I already heard about this. It's mamash a prejudice. You heard something about this person. And Leshon hara is about true things. Al achat kama v'chama, lying about the person and saying chas v'shalom. So this is parallel to this. This is Leshon hara. And this is the evil, the evil inclination, what it causes us? It causes us that we feel restless until we spill out what we have inside, even in anger. Can you imagine? Even in anger. It makes us restless. Then we take everything out, and in a split of a second, we are calm. How come? Because this is what the evil inclination wants you. You can get angry, and it's true, everybody knows. And that's why when I tell you, when you get angry, open the window, open the door, let the evil inclination go out. And take a cup of water and say, Shakol niya bidvaro. Remember that everything is is by the word of Hashem, the Siyata D'Ishmael. So we see that this is the ruining of the first and the second temple, and we come to Beitar that only love was there. They loved each other. Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel, he says that over there was at least 500 chachamim that taught each one of them 500 children. Can you imagine? 500 chachamim that were teachers of children of Torah. You know how much Torah was there? And furthermore, B'siyata D'Ishmael, he says that there was over there a Rabbi Elazar Amudai, that he used to sit over there always with a sack and earth on him, and to pray, and he used to fast. Every day he fasted, and he used to cry to Hashem, and he said, please Hashem, after the ruining of the temple, he used to say, Hashem, please, don't sit on the chair of judgment, sit on the chair of mercy. The Lord of the world, sit on the chair of mercy. Don't sit on the chair of judgment. And by this, because he was so righteous, by this he saved the whole Beitar. And over there was Bar Kokhba, that his name changed to Bar Koziba, and Andrianos Caesar made a siege over Beitar for 3.5 years, and he couldn't go in. He couldn't do anything. One of the goyim told him, you can't because of this righteous tzaddik that is there. Let me try and see what I can do. So he went inside, and he made himself like he's whispering in the ear of Rabbi Elazar Amudai. And everybody that saw that went to Bar Koziba, and they told him, he spoke to him. Let's see what he told him. So they took him in front of Bar Koziba, and he asked him, what did you speak? What did you tell him? And what did he answer you? So he said, if I will tell you, the king is going to kill me, but if I won't tell you, you will kill me, so it's better that the king will kill me. And Andrianos Caesar, Caesar that was outside with a siege over Beitar. So he told him that Rabbi Elazar Amudai told him that we want to surrender. We want to surrender, and that tell that Caesar that we want to do peace, we will surrender. When Bar Koziba heard this, he came to Rabbi Elazar Amudai, and he told him, what did he tell you? And what did you ask him? What did you tell him? She said, I don't know what he told me. I was praying, I was davening, I didn't even hear him, and he really didn't tell him anything. So Bar Koziva got so angry, he kicked him and he killed him. Immediately a decree came from heaven. You killed the right hand of the Israelites and the right hand and the right eye of the Israelites, because he was protecting the children of Israel. You're going to be killed. And by this, Hashem sent a snake, and the snake killed the Bar Koziva. They took off his head, they brought his head to Adrianos Caesar, and Adrianos Caesar said, who killed him? And one of the soldiers said, I killed him. But then he killed that soldier because he saw it was not true, because he asked to bring his body and he saw a big snake over his body. And know that Adrianos Caesar had a vineyard that was 18 mil on 18 mil. This is what the length. He took all of the bodies of the Israelites that were inside Beitar, and he made a fence around his vineyard. The fence was so tall and big that a person who is standing, this is the height of all of the bodies that he laid one above the other. They took Lo Alenu, the children, and they wrapped them with the books of Torah, and Lo Alenu, they burnt them with the rabbis that taught them, with the Chachamim that taught them Torah. And it says that the blood that came out of the city of Beitar, Shalom Neda, was until, like rivers, until the nostrils of the horses there. And eventually on Tu B'Av, after years, they were allowed, because he didn't allow, Adrianus Caesar did not allow to bury them, because it was so hard for him to conquer the city of Beitar. He left all of the bodies over there. From there comes the Torah Meti. We'll speak about it Bezrat Hashem Tu B'Av. So dear ladies, this is Milkeda Beitar. And it's written in Yirmiyahu the prophet, Sion Sadet Echaresh, because the Romans saw that the children of Israel, they get strength from Jerusalem, from Yerushalayim, and they get strength from where the temple was. They started plowing all of the land of Yerushalayim, of Jerusalem. So these are the things that happened on Tisha B'Av, on the 9th of Av, and we're going back to Chet HaMeraglim. So dear ladies, we are going back to Chet HaMeraglim, and it says in Parashat Shlach Lecha, you remember that the spies came in, except for 2 spies out of the 12. The 10 spies said that they are giants. They were really giants. Hashem created the world, there were giants over here. Adam Arishon was a giant. Adam was a giant. So they are giants, they are giants. We can't conquer. The walls of the cities are big. You know, Yericho had 7 walls, and they were all thick and big. But Hashem liked this to keep on. Just by blowing the shofar, just by surrounding it, the walls went into the ground. So Hashem can do anything. The siyata dishmaya, that's why when we don't have enough emunah, faith and bitachon and confidence in Hashem, so we are in exile. But once we remember that Hashem is in everything, God is everything and everything is God, then we have miracles above nature. Mamash miracles above nature. So we see over here, after they tell all of the children of Israel, and although Caleb ben Yefuneh, Yoshua ben Nun, tell them, don't listen to them. Hashem will, all of the miracles that He performed for us in Egypt, and then all of the miracles in the desert, receiving the Torah, don't believe them. Hashem will help us. So it says, Parashat Shalach, a portion of Shalach, chapter 14, verse 1, ותישא כל העדה ויתנו את קולם ויבכו העם בלילה ההוא. And all of the children of Israel started crying at that night. That night was Tisha B'Av, the 9th of Av. Now look, there's a saying, our sages have a saying, נבואה שמגשימה את עצמה, a prophecy that becomes true. That it becomes, how does it become true? We learn it mamash from this. Because over here they say, וילונו על משה ועל אהרון כל בני ישראל. So now they are complaining about Moshe and Aaron, all the children of Israel, ואמרו אליהם כל העדה, and all of them are telling them, לו מתנו בארץ מצרים או במדבר הזה לו מתנו, שלא נדע. So We should have died in the desert, they say, or in the land of Egypt, or in the desert we should have died. ולמה השם הביא אותנו אל הארץ הזאת לנפול בחרב, נשינו וטפנו לבז, הלא טוב לנו שוב מצרימה. They say, okay, why did Hashem bring us over? Look, in a split of a second what the evil inclination does. When we are not clinging to Hashem, in a split of a second we fall in his net. Because if we would have went to the land of Israel, we would have been now like at least 3,000 years already with Mashiach. If we went in. So when the evil inclination sees that there's a gate open, that Mashiach can be revealed, he works with all of his soldiers and causes us to fall in imagination. This is a koach hamedame. This is the power of the imagination that he gives us instead of clinging to Hashem and having true belief and trust in Hashem. That Hashem will deliver us. He delivered us until now. Of course he's going to deliver us. We are his firstborns. We are his children. We are the sons and daughters of a king. The King of Kings. HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He can do everything. Yes, there are judges over here. There are lawyers. There are different kinds of forms of judgment. But the one who decides is Melech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's Hashem who decides. These are only messengers. The decision is all in heaven. What is decided in heaven appears over here in this world. So if we put our trust, we do the ishtadlut, we do the effort, but our trust is in Hashem. בשם Hashem נעשה ונצליח, אין עוד מלבדו. אין עוד מלבדו. There's nothing else but Hashem. Everything is imagination. We think it's true. Why? Because we live where our thoughts are. If we are in fear, this is where we live. So we are afraid of everything. Oh, look what's happening now in Israel. Look at all of the demonstrations. No, the majority chose Hashem and the government. This is the majority. What we see now, the minority that does not want to accept democracy, there were elections, that don't want to accept this, the elections that was. This is a minority. But it's just like there's a lot of noise, they make a lot of noise, but no, don't fall with fear. Trust in Hashem. We are showing Hashem that we love Him. We want His ruling over us. This is what we are showing Hashem. And so many people are doing tshuva, repent. I know Hashem loves us. Hashem, He sees it so hard in a time that good is considered and not good, and evil is considered good. It's darkness is light, light is darkness, and also we spoke about it in the previous shurim from Ishayahu the prophet, and also bitter becomes sweet and sweet becomes bitter. It's so hard to stay righteous and to cling to Hashem that when we do even one Jewish person that does a mitzvah, that's a big thing. That's a big thing in this generation. Always I think about Noah, and I tell myself, wow, look at Noah, at his generation, the generation of the flood. He was righteous and he taught his children to be righteous. And everybody around him, they all drowned, they all died. Why? Because they were all evil. And you can think how much it's hard. This is a super righteous. To be like Noah, because how hard it's to be righteous when everything around you is exactly the opposite. And everybody's mocking you, and everybody's laughing at you, and your children, your family, but you still cling to Hashem. This is really righteousness. So B'siyata D'Ishmael, we see over here that the children of Israel started crying to Hashem. Look what Hashem says. Remember, prophecy that becomes true, that נבואה שמגשימה את עצמה. שזה עוד מילה? fulfills itself. Okay? So look what Hashem tells Moshe Rabbeinu. אמור עליהם, חי אני נאום השם, אם לא כאשר דיברתם באוזניי, כן אעשה לכם. So Hashem, it's it's the same chapter. It's chapter 14. It's verse 28. Okay, they are beginning of chapter 14, verse 1, pasuk aleph. Here is 28. Pasuk is kaftet. So he says to them, Hashem, okay, you were crying and you said that you wanted to die in the desert, or maybe you should have died in the land of Egypt. He says, just like you spoke, this is what I'm going to do to you. במדבר הזה יופלו פגריכם וכל פיקודיכם לכל מספרכם ובין 20 שנה ומעלה אשר העלילות למעלה. Can you imagine? Why am I telling you this? Because this is true until today. When we get angry, chas v'shalom, don't curse anyone, and don't curse yourselves. Because there are angels from both sides. And whatever we say, they answer amen. And then, chas v'shalom, if we said something that is not good, it's going to happen. When? It depends on Hashem. So Hashem says to them exactly what you took out of your mouth. לא יחל דברו ככל העצם את פיו ויעשה פשוט. It's parashat matot. We learn parashat matot, chumash bamidbar, that everything that we take out of our mouth, the siyata d'ishmael, we should fulfill. So it should be only good things. Even if we get angry, only good things. Think about a positive thing. We have to practice this. This we have to do all the time, to practice it. So only good things, because in this we see from here a prophecy that fulfills itself. You said that you wish that you die in the desert. Okay, he says, all of this generation from the age of 20 to the age of 60, 38 years will die in the desert. Remember the spies, it was the second year that they went out of Egypt, and it was on the 29th of the month of Sivan. They went to Eretz Canaan, to the land of Canaan. They came back. It was the 8th of Av. It was Erev Tisha B'Av, the eve of Tisha B'Av, of the 9th of Av. When the children of Israel started crying, it was Tisha B'Av already. So Hashem said, it says Masechet Ta'anit, it says, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Oto Yom, Rabbi Yochanan says, it's Masechet Ta'anit, page 29, Amud Aleph. Amar Rabbi Yochanan said, Oto Yom, that day, Erev Tisha B'Av היה, the eve of Tisha B'Av. Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem said, Hen bachu b'chiya shel chinam. They cried in vain, baseless cry. ואני אקבע להם בחייה לדורות. And I will see to it that they will have a cry for generations. So let's look. This is one point of view. We're going to Chumash Dvarim, and look what's written over there. So we see over here they're crying, they are afraid of all of the giants and all of the cities that have big walls, kol hachomot. So now Moshe Rabbeinu is speaking to them and reminding them all of the sins that they did. We're going back to Chumash Dvarim, Parashat Dvarim, the portion of Dvarim, chapter 1, verse 27. And it says, "V'teradnu bo aleichem," and you are sitting and complaining inside your tents, "V'tomru," and you are saying, "B'sinat Hashem otanu hotzianu me'eretz Mitzrayim." Look what they are saying now. We said over here that all of them were crying in vain. ותישא כל העדה ויתנו את כולם ויבכו, and they were crying in vain. But Chumash Dvarim, dear ladies, it says, but Moshe Rabbeinu tells them, you were complaining in your tents, but תאמרו בשנאת Hashem, that Hashem hates us. Because he hates us, he took us out of Egypt. לתת אותנו ביד האמורי להשמידנו, to go into the land of Canaan, that the Amori will kill us because they have giants. These are our forefathers. We do the same thing, but just we don't pay attention. This is a thing that to learn a lot of morals from this. So this is what Moshe Rabbeinu, they said, Hashem, how can we say that Hashem hates us? How can we say that Hashem did the 10 plagues in Egypt? Gathered the children of Israel, opened the ocean for them to 12 parts. After he opened the ocean to 12 parts, he gave us the Torah, B'Ma'amad Har Sinai. And he gave us the man to eat from heaven, and the well of Miriam to drink. How can we say that Hashem hates us? This is the same sin. Both of them is both of them is about the spies. Both of them is about the spies that went into the land of Israel. Can you imagine? ותראו, בשנאת השם אותנו הוצאנו מארץ מצרים. Because of the hatred of Hashem towards us, He took us out of Egypt in order that we'll go to the land of Canaan and the giants will kill us. These are the two aspects of the same thing. So, dear ladies, why does this happen? So, that we are. You know why we study Torah? The purpose of studying Torah that שאנחנו נעדן את הנפש, that we will gentle our soul to go in the way of Hashem. Refine, yes, to that. Refine our soul to go in the way of Hashem. What does it mean? It's not literally only studying the Torah and being wise and understanding all of the 4 parts of the Torah, Pshat, Remez, Drash, Vesod, all the Pardes. It's not, which means that the scriptures like it's written, and then the Gemara and Braita and everything, and Remez is the Gimatriot, all of the numerical value, and Sod is the Zohar Kadosh. It's not literally this. It's that we study, we apply this to our life. What does it mean? We fix our character traits in order that we emulate the attributes of Hashem. That's why it's written, Lo tikom velo tipor, v'ahavta kamocha ani Hashem. It's the same pasuk, Parashat Kedoshim, Chumash Vayikra, the same pasuk. You should not revenge, you should not have grudge, you should love your fellow human being like you love yourself. Neum Hashem, the word of Hashem. All of the purpose is that we will emulate the 13 attributes of Hashem and be kind to human beings and love each other, because Hashem knows that. He says, how do I know that you love me? Because you love my children. You show them the respect that they deserve, because each human being has a soul from Hashem, from God. If Hashem will take the soul out, just take it out, the body will fall down. It's a clothing the body for the soul. The soul is the one that is holding the body. All of the movements that we do, the speech that we speak, everything is the soul. But the soul cannot speak. It has to be inside us, inside the body. The body is the clothing for the soul. So Hashem says, don't you recognize in every human being the part of God, the godly soul that Hashem put in each and every one of us? So you should respect and love each other. But what happens? Why did they cry? They were good people. This is a Dor Da'at. They knew Hashem. Hashem wasn't concealed then. They saw everything in front of them. They saw that divine presence. Hashem wasn't concealed. But the higher spiritually you go, the more you're elevated spiritually, the evil inclination is also elevated. Because then there's no freedom of choice. So the higher you go, the more you are elevated spiritually, also the evil inclination is elevated. In order that you will have this fight, and the reward is that you overcome the evil inclination with the help of Hashem. You ask Hashem, because alone we cannot do this. Always we ask from Hashem for help. Please Hashem, help us when we speak, when we do things. Let us think before we take out the words. Let us be kind. Let us not get angry. You know, there's a beautiful Arav Harush wrote in I think Ghana, Arav Shalom Harush, Shalita, he wrote, there's a story about a sandlar. There was the Berussia, and there was a sandlar, a shoemaker, a shoemaker, and it was the time of Pesach. Okay, it was the Seder, the night of Pesach, everybody is sitting for a Seder. So there was, I חושבת שזה היה אדמו"ר מקרלין, I'm not sure, but he was sitting with all of the Hasidim, and they started the Seder with all of the Kavanot and everything, and at the middle, Admor starts to laugh, and he laughs, and he closes his eyes, and You see that he has pleasure for what he sees. So the Hasidim ask him and they say, wow, tell us about the Kavanot, can you explain us and, open the path for us? And we see that you have such pleasure. He says, yes, we are doing a Seder, but our Seder is small, parallel to the Seder of the Sandlar, of the shoemaker, and he tells him his name. And he says, how come? He's such a simple person. So how come you say that he's doing such with a lot of kavana a Seder? Says, I will show you. So he takes them and they go to the window of the house of the Sandlar, which is a poor person. He has, and what do they see? They didn't put anything on the table for the Seder. But, dear ladies, they see that the Sandlar's wife is so angry. He tells her, my love, I love you so much. Please let's put everything on the table and let's sit down and do a Seder. And she says, no, you are so wicked, you don't treat me well, I'm very angry with you. And he says, oh, I understand you, you're right that you're angry with me. Please, I love you, my love, please. I will try to be better myself. Please let's do a Seder. No, we're not going to do a Seder. Hashem doesn't want your Seder. She tells him, no, I'm not happy with you. Every time I have a problem with you, you always complain about me. Please, he says, please, I love you. I'm going to change my ways. You'll see, let's do the Seder because you know that you can eat the Afikoman until midnight. So please, let's do it. No, b'shum pנים v'ofen. So he starts speaking, and now all of this they see from the window. He starts speaking to us, Asher, I understand that you don't want me to do a Seder. This is Emunah. You don't want me to do a Seder because you caused her to be angry with me. So Hashem, give me the strength. Give me the strength to overcome your test. Because this is a test of Emunah. This is a challenge of Emunah, of faith. He says, I know everything is from you. You're doing this. So I know you don't want me to do a Seder. You want to test me with anger. So help me, Hashem. And my beloved one, he says to his wife, please, let's do it. I will help you. Just tell me, I'll bring everything on the table. You just sit. I will do everything. B'shum pנים v'ofen. She gets angry and she complains and you do this. I don't like you. I have to complain. I need to tell Hashem. He knows what you're doing. For 6 hours, this is going on. 6 hours. And then, in a split of a second, she changes her mind and she says, my beloved husband, let's do a Seder. They were sitting, reading the Haggadah, but they swallowed the words because there was not enough time until midnight. So in order that they can eat the Afikoman, so this mama swallowed the words, and after they ate the Afikoman, they were both of them very happy. So the Admor tells his Hasidim, you see, he says, you know how much nachat, how much Hashem was happy with this Sandlar? His Seder was 1,000 times more elevated than our Seder. Simple test of Emunah. Overcoming our attributes, not to take words that are not good out of our mouth. Can you imagine? But understanding, like the Sandlar, the shoemaker said, Hashem, I understand. You don't want the Seder. You're giving me a challenge of anger. You don't want the Seder. You're just giving me a challenge of anger, and this is what you want from me. To see if I will overcome this. And all of the sweet words. How much it's hard when somebody's... How much is it hard? Somebody's angry all the time, tells you things, and still you say, my beloved, I love you. Okay, you're right. I'm not right. I will better my ways. I will do this. Hashem, I know it's from you. Please, Hashem. Can you imagine? So, the most simplest person can be elevated higher than the biggest rabbi. So Hashem wants us, or the whole purpose of the Torah, b'siyata d'ishma, is to cling to Hashem by emulating His 13 attributes of mercy. This is what Rabbi Moshe Cordovero writes in B'tomer Torah, זכותו תגן עלינו. He says, ראוי שאדם ידמה לקונו. It's appropriate for a person to emulate his creator. How do we emulate Hashem? Can't emulate Hashem, but you can emulate his attributes, the 13 attributes of mercy. If we would all of us do this, Mashiach would have been kacha. All of the reality that the children of Israel have the ability to change what we see now in the world. You understand? This is what Hashem gave us. This is what Hashem gave us. So imagine what Yetzer Hara they had at that time to say that Hashem hates them, to bring them to the desert, to kill them in the desert. Can you imagine? After all of the miracles, this is the power. From this we learn the power of Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, that it causes to fall in foolishness, like we don't think, mamash. And why? B'shniya. And this starts with gava, with pride. You know, there's two main character attributes that from them all of the attributes come out. One is humbleness and one is pride. Humbleness is understanding that we don't deserve anything. We say thank you to Hashem for everything that we have and everything that we need for the fixing we have. We don't deserve anything. But b'siyata dishmaya, so from this comes, from humbleness comes gratefulness. We are grateful for everything that Hashem gave us. We look at the half glass that is full. This is a wise person, because half glass that is full, the chatzi kos melea. Chatzi kos melea in Hebrew. Chatzi start with a chet, half. Kos, which is a cup, starts with a chaf. The melea starts with a mem. Together is a chacham, is a wise person. Chatzi kos melea. Chatzi kos melea. You see, this is chacham. A wise person looks at the half glass that is full. We are just visitors going through this world and coming out again. If we came in, we'll go out. The whole purpose is that we will do a fixing. And the Baal Shem Tov, Alav Shalom Zchut V'Hagana, used to say that sometimes a person can come and live 70 years only to do one chesed, one kindness for a specific human being. For this he came to this world. Can you imagine? And Noam Elimelech says it can take 70 years for us to fix one character trait that we have. Why? Because we need to be aware of it. Because this is in the subconscious. We're not aware of the way we behave, the way we speak. Because this is spiritual. This is spiritual, so we're not aware. We are aware. It says, Rabbeinu Yonah, Meshari Tshuva says, Rabbeinu Yonah, Alav Shalom Zchut V'Hagana Aleinu, he says like this. There's a sickness of the body, and there's sickness of the soul. The sickness of the body, when chas v'shalom somebody is sick, so he feels it. He feels that he's sick. He goes to the doctor. He goes to a rabbi. He asks to do tikkun nefesh. So he does things for it. But the sickness of the body is the character traits, and we are not aware of it. We have to be aware of it, to see, to look on the way that we behave, and by this to fix it, and know that if Hashem woke us in the morning, we woke up in the morning, Hashem loved us, the world cannot exist without us. You have to understand, the world cannot exist without us if we woke up in the morning. Otherwise, if the world can do a fixing without us, Hashem would have taken our soul, not bring it back. But if every morning that we wake up, it means Hashem is telling us, I love you. I love you, my daughter. I love you, my son. Know that I need you in the world for the fixing of the whole world. There's a beautiful story in one of the books that I read. There was a scientist, and his son was bothering him. He was 7 years old, and he was bothering him. He wanted to write an article in an international journal, and he didn't stop bothering him. So he said, I have to engage him with something, that he will be, engaged with something, and it will take him time to finish, to play with it, what I'll give him, and then I can finish writing. So in one of the journals, he saw there was a picture of the whole world, with the countries, the globe. Okay, the globe was there. So he took out the picture and he started cutting it into small pieces. He put it in front of his son on the table. He said, anyway, he doesn't know the whole globe. It will take him hours until we finish. And he told him, take this puzzle and just put it together. Okay, so he went back writing. And Mamash, after a few let's say 10 minutes, the son comes to him and says, I finished. He was shocked. He says, how come it? How did you finish? You don't even know where the states are. And how did you finish? He said, yes, Abba, I know. Father, I didn't have a clue what's going on there. But then I flipped the paper and I saw there are parts of a body of a human being. So I flipped all the papers and I just put the puzzle of a human being. On one side there was the globe, on the other side of the paper was a human being. He says, but I know how a human being looks like, so I made the human being. So he says, I knew that after I'll fix the human being, the whole world will be fixed. So no, dear ladies, B'siyata Dishmaya, it's the same thing. If we as humanity will fix ourselves, if us as the children of Israel will love each other unconditionally, we are like this, we are hand in hand. You see me and Malka, and you see me with now. I have 4 Malkot here. Baruch Hashem. You see me over here, Sigi, רואים את זה? Okay, you see me with them, and הנה גם Chana, we are all one. We are all one soul. But one person cannot do the whole fixing. Just this sparks of that one soul goes to each and every one of us with a different body, exactly what we need for the fixing. So dear ladies, B'siyata Dishmaya, I would like to bless all of us that we will have the zchut to greet Mashiach tzidkenu b'chayim u'rim b'mehera b'yameinu amen. Eliyahu navi zechur latov v'olam yipared adam michaboro b'dvar l'chayachid v'rabim alachak kerabim, and we will all have the zchut to see the building of Beit HaMikdash HaShlishi b'mehera b'yameinu amen. B'siyata Dishmaya.